All right, let's move on and take email question number 2. And email question number 2 comes from Katie here in New York City. How you doing, Katie? Thanks for joining us. She says, "Hey, Mike. So how are theater companies like AMC and Regal dealing with opening their doors again, even though the pandemic is far from over? Thanks." Well, thank you, Katie. Yeah, this is kind of an issue that everybody is talking about and worried about right now. I know it's something that I have given extreme thought and caution to. But if I can, many of you know that my alternate job is working on an airplane for a major airline. For a period of about 4 months, I just stayed at home. I didn't do anything. They didn't need me to go to work, so I just stayed at home and I was on call all day, waiting for the phone to ring. And for 4 months, phone didn't ring. But when the phone rang and I eventually went back to work and I started working again on airplanes, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to go to work. I was a little cautious. I was a little nervous. I'm the kind of person, I'm a huge germaphobe. I'm extremely cautious as to everything that I touch. I carry a little vial of spray. It's a spray bottle full of pure alcohol, like that 99% industrial grade stuff. And I carry that with me, and I just sanitize my hands, and I wipe everything down, Clorox wipes, the whole 9 yards. So I'm very, very aware and conscientious. Conscientious? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think so.
I'm very conscientious of my surroundings and the things that I touch and all that stuff. Anyway, all that is to say, when the movie theaters open back up, or actually they have opened back up in some areas, not in New York City, not in LA, but Natalie, are the theaters open in DC yet?
So I don't think they're open in DC. There's not a plan on the table that I saw. Same thing in Maryland, but they are open in Virginia.
Oh, great. Well, let's all take a road trip and go to Virginia and watch some movies. One of the things that I am super hyper aware of is social distance. Not necessarily in this order. Let's go in order. Wear your mask, wash your hands or sanitize your hands, social distance. If we do all 3 of those things, and they're so easy. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so easy. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance. It's not that hard. But for some reasons, people out there just, refuse. They straight up refuse. If you can't do all 3 of those things, then at least wear your mask and wash your hands. If you can't wash your hands, wear your mask. That is the main protector of this virus. If we all wore our masks consistently and properly for a month, this whole thing would go away. But because we live in a world where you can't tell other people what to do, the virus continues. Anyway, because we are talking about movies and everything, let me bring up AMC's webpage real quick. Now, these are some of the cleaning procedures that AMC is letting their fans and patrons know of. This is what they plan to do. Not just what they plan to do. This is what they are doing to try and keep movie theaters safe. A lot of this I straight up agree with. First and foremost, they are taking enhanced cleaning procedures. Now, AMC Theaters is joining with the Clorox company to ensure that, this is a new program. They're going to sanitize and, clean, like deep clean everything as often as possible. So first of all, they're taking enhanced cleaning procedures. All the common areas and high touch points will be routinely disinfected throughout the day, which means in between each movie, every auditorium, people are coming in to sweep up the popcorn, but they've got those little Clorox wipes. They're wiping all the chairs down, all the handles, where the cup holders are, anywhere that your hands are going to be, anywhere that your body, your arms are touching, everything. They're wiping everything down. In addition to that, they've also upgraded all of their HVAC filters to this MERV 13 thing. And I did a little bit of looking into like what exactly is this MERV 13 HEPA filter, blah 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 blah. It's one of those filters that specializes in the trapping of bacteria and viruses in the air. So that's a big thing of what they're doing as well. Let me go back to this webpage here. Of course, social distancing standards, that's something that's a policy of AMC, but if you've been out in the world, you understand that people just don't follow social distancing guidelines, which is so aggravating. They have a simplified menu. Instead of being able to order everything off of the menu, they're going to have pre-prepared things that you can kind of, say, hey, I want this. Boom, done. There you go. You're not going to be able to refill your drink or like have unlimited refills on your drink as you once were able to do. This is to cut down on cross-contamination and germs and stuff like that. They're also reducing their auditorium capacities. Phase 1, which we're currently in phase 1 right now, they're only filling their theaters up to a 30% seating capacity. Phase 2, we don't know when phase 2 will start, but fairly soon. They're going to up it to 40% seating capacity. Phase 3 is 50% capacity. And then in phase 4, they're just throwing all balls to the wall and just saying, all right, well, by Thanksgiving, we're going to fill the theaters to full capacity, which that's one of the things that I don't particularly agree with. I like the social distancing. I like that it's mandatory to wear your masks. They've got hand sanitizer stations all throughout the theaters. Natalie, when you do go back to the theaters, first of all, are you planning to go back relatively soon, or are you gonna give it a few months before you start going back? What are your thoughts? How safe do you feel?
I think a lot of that definitely depends on the region. I mean, everything you said, I agree with. I think that AMC is definitely taking leaps and bounds to give the appearance of cleanliness. I for one have been present at some showings where some particularly gross things have happened behind me at a movie theater pre-COVID.
I think we've all been in those scenarios before.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think that eventually we are going to have to go back to a normal way of life. Now, as far as the rest of 2020 is concerned, I don't think there's anything out there right now that's going to pull me back in the theater. Like, I mean, what was the movie that was released this weekend? Unhinged.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to risk it all for Russell Crowe. Unhinged. Like, that's not,
what?
Yeah, it's worth my life.
But the movie was directed by the RZA, the Wu-Tang Clan.
I don't know. Thank God Endgame is not. That didn't happen this year. But that being said, I think that studios are going to have to, pump the brakes a while. I think that the majority of Americans, they're going to find out that one way or another, if they release their big hits, they're going to lose some kind of revenue due to this, because we're not all on the same page in the country. Also, subsequently, I read that Unhinged, when it was released, it did really surprisingly well, but mostly in the South and Midwest. And read from that what you will.
It's true. I mean, I don't want to marginalize. I don't want to, call anyone out. But when you look at the trends, there are specific trends happening in, health and in economy that are pairing up, as you say. So it's going to be interesting moving forward. Like I said, I don't agree with AMC's decision, much like I don't agree with the company that I currently work for selling all of the middle seats on the airplane. I do not agree with this. I'm totally okay with filling all of the rest of the seats. But, if you're going to practice, safety and safe health, you have to, I feel like, as, who was it? The buck stops here. Who was that?
No, Truman.
Thank you.
Truman. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dewey did not defeat Truman.
Are you sure about that? President Dewey sounds very familiar to me. But yeah, like the buck stops here. And I think the same thing with AMC theaters is that there needs to be some responsibility. I do not see filling every seat or having the opportunity to sell every seat in a movie house by Thanksgiving. I don't see that as being responsible. Everything else is what they're doing. I'm totally okay with filling the theater up to 50% capacity. In fact, if they wanted to start with 50% capacity, I would feel fine. That means every other seat has the opportunity to be filled. I'm okay with that, and I'm a massive germaphobe. as long as we all wear our masks, as long as we all keep our hands clean and do our best to kind of like keep, away from other people, we can do this. We can do it together.
I agree. I think that I believe AMC's policy is also like, isn't it every other row?
Yes.
So like the whole
Yes.
row is blocked out. So I think that, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not super scary in a giant theater, like, one that used to house like 300 seats. If it's at 30 or 40% capacity, and, you think about some of those families as clusters. But also it does seem like it's really, really, because number one on your list, wear your mask. How are they going to manage that? Like, are they going to have ushers with flashlights?
No, they're
like,
not.
Hey, pull your mask over your nose.
Guarantee
they're
you
not going to do that.
Even working on the airplane, it becomes my responsibility. I have to police all the passengers and say, hey, remember, put your mask up. It has to cover your nose. Like, not just your mouth. It has to cover your nose as well. And so it's, we have to say this 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times to, 50 different people on the airplane every single flight. And so that becomes exhausting. And when you're in a dark room filled with strangers, nobody's going to keep their mask. Like, realistically, unless you're like me, the average movie-going audience member is not going to keep their mask on. So that's why, like, the social distancing thing is huge. Okay, you're not going to keep your mask on. I completely disagree with your judgment-making process. I don't trust you in that regard, but I do trust science. You can't cough or spit further than, 10 feet. We're keeping the 6 feet.
If you can, that's super impressive, right? It's very impressive if you could cough or spit that far.
And most people aren't going to do that. I would hope that the majority of people, I feel a cough or a sneeze coming on, cover up. And I feel like most people are going to be considerate in that regard. It's for that small percentage of people that just will blatantly disregard all of these things. And there's not going to be any policing. The bottom line, I currently feel okay. I currently feel okay going back to the theaters when they open up in New York. I feel okay about it. We'll kind of have to suss out the situation when I get there, and after I go through one round. But the more people start showing up, I mean, we're gonna by Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't think that's a great idea. Anyway, guys.
I hope that was just for the shareholders too. I hope that date was.
Oh man.
It seemed flexible enough in the wording, but I agree with you. Like Thanksgiving, no, thank you.
It seems a little too early. Anyway, guys, what do you think about AMC theaters or any of these theaters opening back up so soon, or filling their theaters to full capacity by Thanksgiving? Does that scare you? Do you feel comfortable going now with a 30% capacity rule? How do you feel? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.